Hi everyone, Lord Crew here, and welcome to my channel. So the thing that we're gonna discuss today are the update last night in God's Unchained Reddit, and it's regarding about the public tales realm that it's currently happening now, and there are lots of mixed emotions, high praises, comments, about this update. And what will happen is that there are like 188 guards in core set where they gonna have like nerf and buff or changes. And I believe because this is like a massive change in Godside Chains currently now, there are lots of people are like excited, happy, and they're like people are disappointed, and they're like a mixed emotion on this one. And without further ado, let's begin and showing you this public test realm balance changes. So as you can see, this was like released 13 hours ago, and this is more about the core set or refresh. And technically, this is a big balance because it's total of 188 cards, and we all know 259 core cards currently now, and 188 means like this is like 70 total, approximately 73% of the core set cards are being updated. And because this is like a very long list, 188, if I used to tackle card by card, it will take me 2 hours. And that's what happened to me last night. Took me 2 hours before I finished reviewing all the cards. And I did like a summary. So one thing that I noticed on this PTR update is that uh, regarding to domain affiliation. So what does it means? Like there are like majority like a neutral cards. Technically, like neutral cards are now being moved to a specific domain or specific god. That's like from neutral cards became a war card, a neutral card that a wild card that is neutral now became part now of a nature card. So those kind of changes. And then second thing is faction. So faction is it's like the category of that card. So for example, there are some factionless, like literally became now a Viking. So for example, there's a card is factionless, but technically shown in the description or shown in the image or shown in the name or name of the card, it's like Viking and stuff. They moved that one directly to Viking, and there are lots of changes on those scorecards. And aside from that, those changes are like casting costs, and they did some changes on the ability. And we can see there's like a card that has been buffed, and then there are cards that has been nerfed. So the first thing that I have like to discuss to you is it's about war. So on the war list, one thing that one of the one they have to buff is the Avalanche Strike. So the good thing about this card is it's a spelled card like previously used to destroy creature. Now it can use now to deals damage in opponent god. And as you can see here, from 2 damage, if you have a weapon, it can also deals 4 damage instead. And FYI, they use the word damage, means they can use to the gods and creatures. So another thing that one of the famous like that they nerf is they buff is Grendel. So usually Grendel is a 8 mana casting cost, and they change it to a 6 casting cost 6 6 6 casting cost 4 4 from 8 casting cost 6 6. And the good thing about this one, uh the latest change on this one is been blitz protected, and after this attack it becomes protected. So technically it comes into play, it's already protect, and every time it attack, at the end of that attack, he will gain again. So technically, because it's blitz, it literally uh you have like a 4 4 like a able to kill creature every turn. So that's like the main advantage. So this is like a good buff. They removed the word twin strike, but the blitz and protect already it's like a good source of like a board present and also a creature destroyer here. So another thing that I noticed based on this one is like the trial of spirit. The trial of spirit is like usually a neutral card, and like I said, they changed its affiliation now to war. It's domain to war, and it makes to a stats of 1 3 to 2 3. So technically, trial spirit is something you can do a uh +1 health to your creature. Now it's dedicated now for war. And Tavern Brawler, one thing that I notice here is like Tavern Brawler, it's a simple change, but technically Tavern Brawler is a war creature, but he has no faction. Now they make him a Viking. So this is a good becoming a good card now for war because you can like because there are lots of buff cards that buffs Vikings, certainly Viking, and this is like a good thing for war. The meta now will start from just like a generic aggro Slayer war. It became now a aggro Viking Slayer war. So you can like add more features on this one, and this is like a good one here. And things that I want to discuss is like the nerf one. So one of the famous cards that has been nerfed recently is the Carnage Sweep. The Carnage Sweep. So technically, this Carnage Sweep is literally a AOE deals 2 damage, and if you have a weapon, it literally destroy everything. It now this is lot majority used in control. Now they change it only to uh deal your relic strength deals damage to creature. So if you got a 1 strength or 2 strength relic, it will like deals 2 damage. So I believe this is like a nerf for that one. Another one is Hector. So Hector, Prince of Troy, usually is highly used in war control, especially during in the past, like the war onslaught. So what happened now is like they remove they remove they change the stats to bigger. It's like from 7 casting cost 7/7, but the only thing is they remove the front line. They remove the front line and leech here, which is and flank, which is majority, especially the leech are the key tools here of Hector. Then the main reason why people use this in war control because this is the only source of life gain for war. And I remember playing that war onslaught. They use this one to gain health and without using a Demogorgon here. So this is like literally the heal. And another thing that I noticed that they nerf also is Auric Mage. So Auric Mage is also a war where it comes into play. It should like oh no, this is not the other one. I think it's the another yeah, this is the one. So as you can see, he has Leech here previously. So technically he's a I believe currently now his stats is 4/6. When comes into play, deals 1 damage to all creatures, including her. And the thing is, he has leech, so technically this is like a good source of healing. So they remove that leech to this war creature. So technically, what will happen? There are two main cards now in war control for life gain. Has been removed now, and that's what I noticed on war. And the thing that regarding faction, so anything that you see from neutral curse that has Viking are moved now into a domain of war, and those with factionless became a Viking, and that's like more. So anything that you see Viking nowadays and Olympians are considered one of the war creatures. So Vikings and Olympians. So let's go now proceed with the light deck. So in light deck, I mentioned faction. So the faction majority of light deck are composed of Aether and Olympian. And this is like majority that you will see that on light. You will see if there's an Aether card in faction that is in neutral, they move that one into light. And even some of the Olympians. So Olympian are separated into war and also in light. So Olympian, some neutral Olympian have been named into light, and some light with no faction. They change it sometimes either to eight Aether or Olympian. And one thing that shocked me on this one is the shield bearer. The shield bearer now currently a neutral. It became now to light, but here, as you can notice, it does not mention. On the previous PTR, they want to nerf shield bearer, become like +1/+1 roar, +1/+1 to target creature, and he's like supposed to be 1/1. He became 0/1. Now it's just mentioned here change to light. So technically, we believe that he will become a one casting cost 1/1 and please give +1/+1. And then another thing that I noticed here, Janissary, Feli Janissary. So this is like a common tutu similar to uh, a tutu similar to a shield bearer, but here is he has like become more specific. Give +1/+1 a friendly creature with a base strength of 2 or less. So technically, there's a new word now in light where it became 2 or less. So there are lots of buff now coming now in light where and you can buff only creature as long as the base is 2 or less. So technically 2 strength or less. So technically means if I have like a 2/2, I buff it, it became 3/3. And then I have this another spell or will become buff as long as his base is 2, he will be buffed more. So something like a this is like a version is equivalent to the Magic the Gathering, the white weenie. This will become like a light weenie in the future where you have this kind of two creatures, two strength creatures will eventually along the game will get buffer and buffer and buffer. And one of the best buff here is like will be Asterius. So Asterius, the glittering one, technically it's already a good card for light that it gives +2/+2 anything that has +2 strength. But now they change it the roar ability into give it +2/+2 creature with base strength 2 or less. So technically, if I have a 2/2, technically what happening now, if I have a 2/2, it became 3/3. Technically, I will not able to buff it because I only can buff 2 with 2 strength or less. But now, because of these changes of base strength of 2 means, if this a 2/2 and I canonize it, give it +3/+3, become 5/5. If I drop down Asterius, technically, he will still get the +2/+2 buff because his base before was 2/2. So, this is like a new meta now in Light, and I believe this will be like the one of the a good buff for light, especially on the meta. And this is like, and I noticed like there are lots of cards like even Bright Mage that's supposed to be it's supposed to be a 3/3. They become 2/4. There are lots of cards here that has more than 3 strength. They downgraded into 2 strength. And that's the main reason why we have a nerf on CERN. CERN before was 4/5. Now it become 2/5. And you will see a lot of creature now with 2 attack and high health, like 4 or 5 health. And one thing that I noticed, like a one powerful light spell is the Recovering Sigil. So Recovering Sigil is from 2 mana into become a 1 casting cost. And FY, as you can see here, is heal 3 each friendly creatures. Remember, you buffing more creatures, you do attacking, and then it will be damaged. You can heal 3 to each friendly creature. And then, from 1 casting cost, it heals all your creature ready. It will give you a draw card. So this is literally a must card, I believe, in the core set, especially if you're gonna light. So this will be a new meta for light, and because this is a core set, everyone I think everyone has like a good access on this card, and this will probably challenge nature and war in terms of like creature to creature battle. So the next text that we're gonna go is death. So death is one thing that I noticed, like especially on the domain, anything that is a Nubian or Nether auto of from neutral cards, they move it now to a death domain. anything that you see Anubian. And one thing that I noticed is the word Anubian are equivalent to people who do resurrect. They have like afterlife ability, like when it dies, it do something, and then also they have like ability to resurrect, like get a creature from. So this is more on like a the core concept for the death is will be Anubian and resurrection, and there are like also lots of nether creature are moved to death based on this one. Uh, and one thing that I noticed on that, there are lots of core card like common cards that's been buffed a little bit, but there's I don't see any big one. But what I noticed that there are like nerfs. So one thing that like I'll get a lot of shock is the skeleton heavy. So skeleton heavy is what we believe is like to be one of our basic core two drops. It's currently a 2/4 neutral Anubian. But now he will go now move to death now. So he's no longer a neutral card, but move to death. And instead of 2/4, they become three casting cost now. It's still 2/4, but three casting cost, and he has like an afterlife effect now, like destroy strongest enemy creature with 1 health. So this is like a nerf for this one. This one usually Anubia are used by majority of any aggro from war to light to nature and even from deception or even for majority all aggro in any domain you use him. But now and usually a replacement for Pyramid Warden. But now he's been nerfed. And another thing that I saw is been nerf is the legendary Tanakris Spelloku. So this one is like a death card that is very annoying because he's a 1/3 that every time he dies, you just discard the obliterate one of your card in hand and he will come back. But now they change it to obliterate a random spell, not just any card now. So technically, if the opponent has no spell card, he can be gone forever. So this is like an after like this is like a, one of the nerf and the Cerberus one. So Cerberus is like a 7 casting cost. He buffed his 6/7, but at the end of each turn, it becomes just at end of each turn, he just destroy enemy creature with 3 health. So usually he kill a lot. He killed 3, maximum of 3 even to you. Now he just kill enemy creature but only one. Literally on that on turn 7, he can literally devastate your opponent on that one. So that was I noticed like on the so there's no big changes in some movements of domain and faction and majority nerf like I noticed in that there are like some cards that's been buffed but more on resurrection, which is currently I feel like it's not enough cards for them to build a strong one. So another the next topic we will go for magic. So for magic, one thing that I noticed regarding domain are and faction are the mystic, Aether, and Structure. There are lots of cards that are Mystic, move to Magic, and there are lots of Aether cards are sent to Magic also. Not just only for Light, but also for Magic. And there's some neutral Aether still out there, and I believe this will be part of the concept of Aether Magic or Aether Ramp Magic. And for the structure, there are lots of structure, especially the catapult, the ballista that deals damage. Those one, it's structure, and yet they move now to domain of magic. So expect more of those structure and spell deck, like literally. And one of the buff that I noticed uh for magic is like Oni. So some they said Oni spell word is a nerf. Some say it's a buff because it get one threat any with if you play a card, it get +1 strength. Now, if you play a spell, it get +1/+1. So for me, it's a buff because Oni has only three life, so can be easily be killed by weapon or spells, even though he has a ward. But now, every time he has a ward, and every time he spell, he get +1/+1 in ward. So something like as long as you play spells, he get unlimited ward, and also a +1 on his not just only attack but also hit. For me, it's a buff, but some people consider it nerf because they cannot like do ward to other creature. Another thing that I noticed is the moth, one of the legendary card, Polaris moth, and this card is currently a magic card, right? And now his faction is wild because he makes sense because he's a moth. And the only thing that we notice is it changed from 1 health to 3. So you cannot easily kill him by a ping like god power or using a deals 1 damage ability. What happened is he can produce rune each turn. Before it was an end of turn, now each turn. And the thing is, that rune reduced to 1. So if you have like a 2 casting cost rune, it become 1 casting cost rune. So this is like a buff. And I believe a lot of magic players, especially with structure deck, will gonna use this one. And that's what I notice here. And yeah, so the meta will be here. And another thing that I noticed is Crystal Rain. So Crystal Rain, they buffed this one. Instead of 5, it became 4. Still deals 2 damage to each enemy creature. This is nice. Early access for the AoE ability. And one thing is Wind Breath. They buffed this one to deals 5 to deal 6. So technically, it deals 6 damage means I can hit a god or a creature, and 6 damage is a lot of damage, especially if you have lots of power boost. You can literally kill a player here on this one. So this is like the buff that I see. For nerf, I don't see much nerf that is seen so far. And the next topic will be deception. So deception, I noticed on this one, some neutral cards went to deception, especially those human and merchant or mercenary, orcs, ogre. They change its faction from factionless into guild, and some of those guild cards are now moved to deception. So anything related to guilds are deception. One thing that I see a buff is the inconspicuous so inconspicuous carriage. So it's a fourth casting cost to 6. Now it became 3/5. I believe 3/5 is good because it can literally kill early creature like 2/3 or 3/3. And I believe this too. And it doesn't matter like how many mana left, not like before. It will automatically add 2 bumps to your opponent deck. So because technically the 2/6 here are like the bump are sometimes okay. You some on the previous or the current one, sometimes players can play around this one, so for you never to ever give bombs to your opponent. So automatically it will give 2 bombs. So I believe this is a buff, and because it's 3 attack now, it can still kill now a 3/3 minion or 2/3 minion or 2/2 minion now. So it has more kill power now compared before. And one thing that's the only buff that I see. The rest are nerf. So for example, the exorcist, they really nerfed this one because instead of all creature goes to sleep, draw card is just target 2 creature if they already sim destroy one. So for 5 casting costs, you can only sleep 2. So I believe this is like a big uh I believe sleep deception will be now goodbye. And especially even the toast of peace. Usually one of the key card in sleep deception is just give you -3 strength to each creature. Yeah, it's a good -3, but you will never gain any favor because you never killed anything, right? Thousand piece, at least you can like return it to hand. You can play around it, but now this is just like a minus. So I believe this is like a buff, a nerf, and even Jinx Blade. One of the famous 3 cards for low rank are Jinx Blade's Duelist. Uh, it changed stats from 2, so the 2 become 3 now. So he become 4/3. And the only problem, instead of gaining 1 health each turn, as long as they are creature. Now it's just set creatures health to 3. So it's forever 3. So if I attack, it became 4/1. At the end of turn, he became 4/3. So something like it regenerates to always to 3 at end of turn. But technically, Jinx became powerful because of unlimited health. That if you did not kill him for the first few turns, he can have like a 4-6 or 4-10 health. So for me, that's a nerf, and usually this is used by low rank, especially for core cards. And deception, not that one. I believe like rapture dance has been nerfed. So this is like a number one AOE in one of the big strongest AOE. So if you have six creatures on the board, it deals 6 damage to everyone. If you have three, deals 3 damage to everyone. But now it's just like which has the biggest. Well, you can select. I will automatically target an enemy creature. Deal its strength in damage to other creatures. If you see a 3/3, you can like select that one. So one thing for sure, that if you use this one, there only be one creature left. So that's the thing, because it mentioned here to each other creature, not deals three that deals its strength to all, including him. So no, it's each other creature. So technically, Rapture Dance is a good AoE spell, but there only one one creature will left still, that the one that you selected. So that's what I noticed. Uh so I one thing I noticed, some of the the neutral roar card, like the Carthaginian Marine and the Veteran Archer, they are like neutral, right? They moved now to Deception, and some of them are under the faction of Guild now, because the Carthaginian, I believe, is factionless, and the Veteran Archer are factionless. Now they are Guild, and also they are moved to Deception. And last but not the least is the nature. So nature, this is been a controversy currently now, because currently now in current meta, nature is one of the dominating one because of Flourish God Power. Last PTR, they said they were gonna nerf the Flourish now. Now they did some update on the core, and I believe nature will become a also a competitive in terms of using the core. So one thing that I notice, anything that is wild and Amazon, or anything that is Amazon in the name, or like became now a nature card. So there are like factionless that is look like an Amazon. They make it Amazon. Anything that is beast, they make it a wild, and they move it to nature. So there are lots of neutral cards being moved to nature. And one thing that I noticed as the spell, we have like canopy, or like canopy, or like the lightning in Arrow X, where you deals damage randomly like a spell. Now lightning, now one of the they buff is lightning strike, is deals 8 to random enemy creature. Now the random enemy creature are changed into strongest enemy creature. And this even include arrow, one of the spell, arrow of rage. Instead of a random enemy, your became now your strongest. So yeah, lightning, especially lightning. This is like a big buff there. And I noticed on some weapon like staff of root that's been buffed. Uh, so staff of roots, as you staff of shards. So staff of roots, a 2 mana now become 3 mana, instead of like a 1/2 become a 2/2. So means it can like kill two health minion automatically, and he has like blitz, guys. So even the Fey Flame, the weapon now become one, become two, and this is like a good buff for the weapon. So technically, versus light, you can kill those two creatures before they can get buffed. One thing that I noticed, like the legend, like Jersey, they Jersey B now, a 4/2 become 3/3 with same ability. Even the Moon 4/3 became 3/4. I believe this is like a buff, because 2 health is easily to kill, and 4/3 is easily to kill. Now become 3/4 is harder to kill. Usually, my experience with Moonhound, because of 3 health, it easily be countered. Once you play, it's easily be instant death to him. Now he has like opportunity to survive for the next turn because of additional 1 health. So one thing that also like my top nature that they buff so fine that I feel like strong are the fire wine. As you can see here on the fine wine, instead of 5 casting costs, it becomes 3 now. And it gives 2 strength and overkill to each your creature until end of turn. This is a powerful card, especially if you have like a massive of 2/2 creatures on the board, like Blade File. You can like literally make them like 4/5 or 4 attack or 5 attack. And FYI, overkill. It literally kills you can like have a lethal here to kill your opponent or trade a lot with your opponent's creature. One thing that I noticed like also is the guerrilla training. So instead of +3 strength, it became now +1/+1. And I believe combine this one with aspect of pangolin will give +3 armors. Your creature will become unkillable, and it getting bigger and bigger because FYI, he has like +1/+1. If that creature has regen, it's literally hard to kill now. And that's what I noticed this one. And another thing is the Pirish uh Fire Beetle. What is that? So the Pyroshell Beetle is a 1/3 with burn. I believe this is like a I'm not quite sure if this is a neutral card or a nature. I think this is like a nature card. But oh no, it's a neutral. They became usually I told my the beginners to, if you don't have Marsh Walker, use Pyroshell Beetle. Now as you can see, they buff him. He will get now regen +1. So he's like almost similar to Marsh Walker, but uh you also get burn +1. So I believe he's now more powerful now with Marsh Walker. Marsh Walker is 1/4 with regen. Him 1 to cast, 1/3, and this with regen and burn. I believe this is like become now new Marshall and Pyre new partner now here. And one thing, the last thing that I saw like a powerful is the pack stalker. As you can see, the pack stalk is from 1 casting cost becomes 0 and refresh 1 mana for each creature you control. So imagine this one, you cast a blade, you have like existing one creature, and then you cast on fourth turn uh, a a blade fly. It summon 3 more creature, right? So it become 4. Now you use this one for 0 casting cost, you refresh 4 again, and then you can like combo it with wildfire. So technically, this is like a fill the board, combo it with buff. Like this, I saw this kind of meta in nature in Hearthstone, where the green or the nature there we're gonna use a spell to cast more creature small and then buff it at the same time and literally make it bigger like so this is what I'm noticing. This is like a good card pack stock, and I believe it especially now. We all know last PTR we saw the nerf for Starfall. I buff for Starfall now is 5 casting cost that summon 3 badger. So imagine summon 3 badger and give +1 strength. Now use the pack stalker. You can like either buff them with and stuff. So this is like more on like if you have existing creature, cast more creature and then use pack stalker to either buff them or cast more creature. So this is like a OP card. So that I believe the meta for the nature will be wild and Amazon still, and they're gonna be an aggro and buff style. That's include the combination of Starfall, Bladefly, Wildfire, Trial of Harden, those buff style with small creature, and that's it. So thank you guys for watching. So if you have like any questions, kindly leave a message and please subscribe, like, and share my video to for me to create more geotech, and thank you for supporting me. Thank you so much guys and have a nice day.